Hi, how you doing? So welcome to 1 Minute My Edit, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to color correct an image for weddings and how to basically get a more polished look. As you can see here, we've got the left, that's the before, and then the right, that is the after. So you can see that on the original there's a lot of orange and a lot of yellow in the skin tones there, which is fine if that's what you want, a warmer look. But I'm showing you how to strip away some of that color and in turn smooth out some of the skin as well. So this can all be done through some of the basic settings and color as well, just to give you a more glamorous kind of a look, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to reset the edit and walk you through how to do it. So we're going to come to the exposure. I'm going to bump this up to just around there, so 0.30, just to brighten the whole image up a little bit. Contrast, we're going to bring that down to -50. So what we're doing is we're going to make the image quite flat. Okay, strip out a lot of the colors of it. So we're going to bring the highlights and the shadows and the whites down. So the highlights, I'm going to bring them down quite a bit to around -45, and the shadows not so much, -25. There we go, that's good. And then we're just going to bring the whites down a little bit to -20 there. There we go. So we're really starting to flatten this, and to help us even more, we're just going to come to the blacks. I'm going to push this up to around 80, around there. There we go. So what we've done in essence there is completely flattened the image. If you look at the before and after, you can see what that's doing. Already that is helping the skin tones, and the reason why it's doing that is because when we flatten the image, we're getting rid of all the shadows and the highlights, so it's just helping us create this smoother image. So just from changing these settings here, that's the effect we're getting. So it's quite a simple way of editing images. What I'm going to do as well is bring the texture down to -10. Okay, and what that's going to do is just help us a little bit with the skin tones. Okay, and I'm just going to bring the clarity up to +5 just to help bring out some of the detail in the dresses there. It's just a smidgen, it's just a little bit. Okay, so let's jump to the tone curve, and what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to start with the colors, and what I'm looking to do is to create an S curve that's fairly not majorly steep, but fairly steep. So let's make our 3 points here, and what I'm going to do as well is click in the middle of those just to help isolate them sections. So what I'm going to do is come to this middle point here, and I'm just going to bring that down just a little bit. The next one here, I'm going to bring that down to there, and I'm going to bring the middle point just down a little bit. And then this section here, I'm just going to push that up a little bit there. Okay, so we're getting a kind of a steep S curve there, as you can see. Okay, and we could maybe just put another point here just to help isolate them blacks a little bit so they're not as affected. So let's just bring that down a little bit more. There we go, that's looking pretty good. So what I want to do then is copy this to the rest of the colors. So I'm going to right click, copy channel settings, go to the green, right click, paste channel settings, and then the same on the blue. So right click, paste. There we go. So we've got that across them 3 shades. I'm going to come to the curve tool, and all I'm going to do is click on the 3 points there, and I'm just going to bring the blacks down, just bring them whites up a little bit, and then the midpoint, I'm just going to bring that just there. Okay, so we've got just a little bit of contrast in there, a really minimal amount, because again, we want this to be a fairly flat image. But that's just helped us. If we look at that, you can see what that's done. Okay, so it's just brought out some of the colors and got rid of that sheen that's almost there. So that just helps us with our overall look. So now what we need to do is correct all the colors. So we've done some correction there, but now we need to really delve into the hue, saturation, and luminance panel. And what we're going to do is just think about each color. We need to shift some of the hues. We need to desaturate quite a lot of the images sorry, quite a lot of the colors, because we want to strip away quite a lot of color, and that's what gives us that kind of that polished sort of magazine look. So within the hues, I am going to come to the red and just go up to about +7, and oranges, I'm just going to bring them down to around -5. There we go. Yellows, I want to take about -25 out of this, and it's because of this particular image. And let's have a look at the greens. So I want to bring them down around -15. Okay. Blues, I'm going to take out, oh sorry, I've missed aqua. I'm going to push a little bit of aqua back in there, so +15. There we go. And in the blue, I want to make that into an aqua tone rather than a blue tone. So I'm going to push this up to -60. There we go. And then purple, I'm going to push that up so it's more of a magenta. I'm going to go to around +50 on that. There we go. So what I'm doing is just manipulating these colors so they're different shades, okay? So let's come to the saturation. This is where a lot of the work is done. So the red, we're going to go -60. And same with the orange, I'm going to do that as well. And you can see there what's starting to happen already. We're starting to get that lovely sheen look. Yellows, I'm going to go to about -70, a little bit more because there's a lot more yellow in there than we realise. Same with the green, I'm going to go -80 on that. Okay, just take out some of that green. And same with the aqua. Let's go to -80. And same with the blue, purple, magenta. So let's just bring them right down. So you can continue to take these down a little bit more if you wanted to go -85. You could do that as well. That will give you a little bit more of an extreme edit, but it will work. It will definitely work, and it depends on the picture that you've got. So the luminance, I'm going to change this now. So luminance is the brightness of these colors. So let's go to the red, bring that down to -20. So we just want to really just pull the brightness of these down, and again, that's what's going to give us that matte look, which is a very kind of interesting look, especially when you're doing portraits. So -10 on the yellow. Green, because we don't like green, I'm going to bring that down to -40. There we go. And then aqua and blue, I'm going to just bring them down a little bit, -10, I think, around there. There we go. So that's given us our kind of color correction. So if we look at the before and after on that, you can see we've done a lot of work there. So we're really bringing down them colors, really bringing down them shades, and it's helping just create that lovely matte look. And you can see it's almost got a clean Instagram kind of style look that everybody loves doing. This is virgin on the color pot, believe it or not, because there isn't a lot of color in here. The main colors are the yellows and the oranges, but this is all white, okay, and grays. So there isn't a lot of color in there, but we've kept enough in the skin tones. Now, because we've manipulated this quite a bit, what I want to do in the color grading is just add some color back into it, because we've stripped it a lot of color, and I just want to add in a little bit of warmth just so it brings back some detail of the model. So all I'm going to do is come to the shadows. I'm in the shadows one and click on the hue, and I'm just going to type in 30 and a saturation of around 5. That gives us this sort of yellow orangey look, which is quite nice. That will just warm up them shadows there. And I'm going to jump over to the highlights, and I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to do 30 and then 5. There we go. That's really, really nice. And then I think what I want to do is just go to the blending and push that up to 100. So you can see what that does. That just brings back a little bit of warmth there, which looks really, really nice. In fact, I probably in the shadows, I might go up to 35 just so it's a little bit warmer. And what that means is that we're just slightly varying the shades of color there. So if we look at that, what that color grading has done, you can see there, that was just from the HSL panel where we stripped a lot of that color around, and now color grading this has just warmed it up a little bit. And I think actually in the highlights, I would probably bring this down to 4, because there's a little bit too warmth going on in the background there for my liking. And I might do that on the shadows as well. Bring that down there. Okay, just so we don't get as much color correction there in the background. So you can see there that looks pretty good. It's enough there just to warm up them skin tones. Okay, so that looks really nice. So let's march on and go to the sharpen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the sharpen up to around 50. There we go. I'm going to keep the radius at about 1.4, 1.5. That will work. Detail, I'm going to keep that up to say 40. And then the masking, what I'm going to do with this is, because I don't want that sharpen to happen on the skin, I only want it to sort of work where it needs to work. So let's click on the mask. If I hold the option key down, you can see there that basically means the whole of that image is going to be sharpened to that amount. If I push this up, then we can start selecting where we want areas to be sharp. So anywhere that's white is going to be sharpened, black is not. So you can see now why I'm doing this. So let me push it up to 65. So the only areas that are going to be sharpened are the white areas. So you can see there very little of the skin is being sharpened, but the eyes are, the eyebrows are, the lips, the dress, the flowers and the hair, and that's what we want. We want that to be sharp, and then the skin to be soft, and that's what's going to help us give us that lovely sheen look. And you can see there what that does. So our eyes come alive, and so does our hair, but our skin stays the same. Let me just drop this down to 40 because I think I've gone a little bit too high. There we go. That's much better. Okay. So we're going to need some noise reduction because we've done quite a lot of work. So let's just boost this up to, let's go to 35. I think that's quite good. And detail, let's just drop that down to about 30. There we go. That looks pretty good. And what that's enabled us to do, if you look at that, that's basically just given us some softer skin. So if I just zoom in a little bit, you can see what happens there. We're just moving that noise reduction. You can see what that's done to the skin. So we haven't actually have to go into Photoshop or any other plugins or using Lightroom just to soften the skin. We've just done that with noise reduction. So that's a good little trick. You can see there quite an effective way of softening skin. Okay, so let's have a look at the color. Noise reduction within the color. Let's go up to, again, let's go to 35. Around there. That looks pretty good. Detail, I'm going to keep a little bit higher. And smoothness, again, we can decide how smooth we want this to be. So if we bring that down, you can see what that's doing there. So let's bring this up to, I think, around 20. We don't want to push that too much because it will start to look a little bit porcelain and a little bit too over processed. So it's very, very important that you do this little by little. So don't just go in and increase this right up high because you want soft skin. Okay, this is just a process that helps. If you then go and actually go on to do frequency separation or anything else, you start off with a really, really nice base to work from, and it becomes a lot quicker and a lot easier to work with. Okay, so that's how you do it. That is the process, and I think it looks really, really nice. So let's have a look at the before and after. So I'm going to press the Y key, and you can see there the original shot, which is fine. It's lovely as it is, but maybe a little bit too orange, a little too much yellow in there. But you can see there what we've done. We've really stripped out them colors, and in doing so, we've softened the skin as well without having to add any blur. And taking them colors out has just enabled us to bring a little bit of life into this. Now, what we could do as well is address some of the white balance. So if we want to, we could add a little bit, and I mean a little bit of yellow into that, just to warm it up a little bit more. If I go to the before and after from what I've just done, so down here where we look at the there we go. So that was the before, and then add in that color temperature, just increasing that color temperature, a little bit of yellow. You can see what that's done to her. That's just warmed her up a little bit. So that's entirely up to you, depending on what you want to do. Yeah, it's up to you. I prefer it like this, where it's very clean, very sort of polished look. And yeah, that's how you do it. So I hope that's helped, and I look forward to seeing your images, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.